going?
How about you?
Oh, great.
Do
Great.
you guys
Oh,
have
roll.
a walkthrough like this that's so above the neck and install heavy and all of that? What are you trying to accomplish, and how do you kind of allocate, as a first-year DC, how do you allocate different responsibilities to your assistants?
Yeah, so it's great because we do split fields, so you get double the reps. And in this case, the twos were going against the one offense, so it gives the coaches a chance to split up. We give Greg Williams a chance to get the calls in and start. Sean goes no huddle. He's got to start getting the calls in, thinking about situations and all that stuff, how we want to apply our defenses and stuff. From a install perspective, you just want to be crisp. You want to be working on stuff. You want to put them in some challenging situations. I think that's always one of the things we've done really well here, is using these walkthroughs where we stress them enough to mentally to keep them engaged the whole time, and that's really the goal.
Jared and Britton talked about their familiarity, but is there anywhere you see that show up in a way that we wouldn't think, either on the field or in the meeting room?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think anything comes to mind right away. You just see that those guys have a great relationship and a great respect for each other, and it's a great friendship. It reminds me of some of when we were in college, of guys that where you really worked hard together, you pushed each other, but you were also great friends off the field, and I know they like to give each other crap and stuff, and so it's fun to see.
Go ahead. Any standouts or takeaways for you from the defensive side for the first joint practice?
Oh, there's a ton. It's really just the guys going out and being able to compete. At the front, Kobe Turner, Bobby Brown, Byron Young, Jared Verse. I thought those guys did a really good job just showing up and competing against a really good offensive line, a really physical run scheme, and different stuff than we're used to seeing from Sean. So, it was really good to see those guys. Obviously, there's a lot to learn from, but really good to see those guys compete. I thought, in the back end, Cam Curl, has been excellent. Quentin Lake, Russ East, you can name, and Jacoby Durant and Trey White did an excellent job just playing calm outside the corner. So it's really good to see.
How will this, with the Cowboys, be different with Dak back there as opposed to Justin Herbert not playing?
No doubt. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. That's what's crazy about these things, is going in these joint practices. You don't necessarily do the preparation. Like when you go to a game, you almost feel like you've played them, throughout that whole week, just because they're on your mind the whole week. Whereas that necessarily hasn't been the case. And I know it's the same thing for them. So we kind of show up tomorrow, and both sides want to get good work. We've planned out a great practice, and Dak's a great player, and they got great skill even with CD Lamb out. So it'll be a great challenge.
What do you want to see out of your unit in tomorrow's joint practice?
Ability to respond. We got a bunch of plays for the ones, and so that being said, against a really good offense, really good scheme, great, well coached, and so they're going to make some plays, and we want to see us, just like we do against our offense. How do you bounce back? When you go 60, 80 plays, whatever it is, against another team's offense, you're going to gain some yards at some point, some time, and we want to see how these guys respond.
How would you describe Jared's personality?
I'd say he's very outgoing. He's outgoing. He's really easy to talk to. He's really smart, really thoughtful. He's just he's a great guy, and it's been a joy to coach so far.
When you are planning for Sunday and the preseason, I know you've called preseason games before, but do you get in like a routine? Are you trying to get reps on certain things, even
Definitely.
in the preparation of it? And are you going to be down on the field still, like you said?
I'll be on the field on Sunday. And definitely, just like the players, treat it like where you can get game-like reps. Now, obviously, a little different. Not nearly as much game planning or anything like that involved as we all know, and obviously a lot simpler call menu and stuff like that. But I think there still is some situations and kind of the thought process behind where you're going to make some mistakes, and you want to learn and grow from those. So look forward to it.
How about like pre-game routine, just like the players?
Yeah, we'll see what it kind of settles into. I feel like I always settle into one every year. I don't know if I'll be running sprints with Joe again this year, like I've been doing, but so I kind of thought about that. But no, we'll see. We'll see when it comes. I haven't really thought about it.
Coach, what have you seen out of Kobe Durant and his development this summer?
He's been excellent, and you see him really taking the game. He's always had the athleticism, and we've always played him inside. And now you see him taking the game outside from just above the neck, understanding receiver splits, understanding receivers' tendencies, who he's playing against. Being patient. You see he's just playing really calm out there. So he's obviously extremely athletic, but when you can play calm and understand what's coming to you, the game slows down. That's what it feels like it's been for him.
Can you talk about Jared's development also this summer?
Yeah, he's been great as well. A guy obviously coming from Florida State, a little bit of a different scheme, whereas now, we go to a 3-4, ask him to do a few different things. And, he's really taken it as a professional. He's gotten better every single day. You see exactly what you saw on tape at Florida State, and you see him making the corrections where he needs to and understanding stuff. The NFL is a different game, especially from what he saw in college in the ACC. Playing against the tight ends a lot more, playing against under center a lot more, understanding formation. So there's going to be a lot to grow, as we know, but he's done a great job so far.
Quentin, a couple more?
Behind Ernest and Troy Christian, obviously those guys have been leaders in that room, but an inside linebacker behind those guys, who has stood out to you and why?
Yeah, I would say Jay Kummel's done a great job, and 03's done a great job, as we call him. Couldn't even pronounce his full name, but they've done an excellent job running it. And Greg Williams, linebacker coach, has done a great job with that room. And Jay Kummel's a guy we've been familiar with, and we really trust to go out there and operate, and athletic and fast. And 03's the same way. He's really showing up, a great blitzer, can run sideline to sideline. And both those guys have done a great job, OTAs and thus far in camp.
Quentin Lake had to split his attention last year, work on multiple positions. This year, been able to focus a little bit more on the star. How are you seeing the benefits of that for him?
Yeah, and it's really a benefit for the defense, because he's a guy that, I think seamlessly can go from, safety to star, and where, some guys it's harder to switch positions, whether it's within the series or within the game, and or between practices or anything like that. I think it's something where he allows us to get our best 11 on the field, and he knows he's going to be on the field in some form or fashion, and as long as he's out there, he's happy. So he's been excellent.
We've heard from the Matthew and a couple other players that going to the one-day format for the joint practices makes it less likely that there's shenanigans. What other benefits are there from going one day versus?
Yeah, it's just I think it's just the monotony. I think it's exactly what you said. I think the second day, guys are tired. Like we like to treat these practices where we give these guys, the ones get almost the same amount of reps as they would in a game. So if you played a game, you're not going to turn around and play a game the next day. Obviously, we're not tackling or anything like that, but I think there's an element to it where it's exhausting to go practice against a really good offense for 50, 60 plays, and 2-3 hours on the field, come back, review the tape, and to go back and have to do it again is we've obviously all done it before, but it's definitely a tough task on those guys. So I think it is a good benefit to kind of split them up, be able to review the tape, correct what you need to, and then go against a different team next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
How y'all doing?
How about you?
Welcome back home.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what kind of work specifically are you guys looking to get when you get to this time of camp or directly post-camp when you're doing the above the neck install?
Yeah, just again, continuing to learn. We're still early into this thing, right? We haven't played a preseason game. We've had one joint practice. I don't know how many days out, but I know it's a month plus, so we're still learning. We're correcting mistakes. And again, these walkthroughs are so important. And a lot of times we do a lot of install right out here on the field. These guys can only take so much in a meeting room, players or coaches. So they'll come out here, do it, explain it. If something needs to get corrected, we can do it, and we can slow it down and, get that a good above the neck work.
When you look at the tape of the Chargers over the weekend, what do you want to take out of that you, knowing you got another one against the Cowboys tomorrow? Is there something specific you want to get done tomorrow?
Yeah, I think there's two things. Just, what does our tape want to look like, when it's silent? What is our play style? What kind of identity are we trying to create? And again, we got a ways to go, but we still need to have a good urgency. And I know our guys are, they understand that, and they've gone about that these last few days. So it's been very encouraging. But again, it was so early when we played the Chargers for both squads. There's going to be mistakes, and what you want these guys to do from an individual standpoint is not make that same mistake twice. Learn from it, grow from it, and then we just got to obviously coach them up and say, hey, this is what we need to correct, and moving forward, we'll get that done.
Mike, how would you evaluate Colby Parkinson right now?
He's he just seems so much more comfortable than the spring, and again, he's coming from a whole new system, coming over here, learning just kind of the way we do things around here, and he's always been a joy to coach. He's an incredible person. Then all of a sudden now he gets here to camp. You can tell he's way more comfortable with the system, and now his traits are able to show. He's a big, long, strong, sturdy. He gets his feet in the ground. He's a problem, at the line of scrimmage. So, and in all facets of the game, and again, he's made of the right stuff. He fits in this locker room perfectly.
What have you seen from Xavier Smith out there, 19?
again, same thing. He's, just more and more comfortable. He's getting a lot of reps right here. Anytime a receiver goes out, more receivers are going to have to step up. And I know from a team's perspective, he's doing a really good job. He knows the importance of getting it done from a special teams perspective. But what we're asking him to do, from an offense perspective, he knows where to go. He knows, how to align in multiple spots, and he's doing a good job.
Sean and Matthew both talked after Sunday about tip balls. What do you want to see tomorrow to try to cut that down?
No tip balls. Sometimes it's the way the ball bounces, and that's what we talked about as a group. You can't always control that ball. You can control your effort, you control your pre-snap operation, you can do all the stuff that takes no luck and B, no talent. And that's the stuff we just need to handle. And when those things happen, how do we all as a group reset, us as coaches as well, reset ourselves? Hey, it's the next play. It happened. A couple tip balls, you don't like to see it, but we can't let it deflate us into that next play.
Even in a controlled, joint practice setting and with no game planning, how do you kind of control a Micah? How can you account for a Micah Parsons or some of those guys that you haven't really prepared for? They're just going to be out there.
Oh, we're gonna cut his legs out. We're gonna chip the heck out. That's kudos to them for having a guy like that. That is an absolute game changer. He changes the map in so many ways. And so when you get into real Sundays, you set your game plan around guys like him. And there's a handful of guys in this league that you have to do it for. Obviously, he being one of them. Obviously, we got to see him firsthand last year, and we know how much work it took getting to that Sunday. As far as in practice, you want to play it real. You don't want to just say, hey, we're going to leave him on an island with the tackle all day, or we're going to run right at him. Because that's not real ball. But at the same time, we're going to get our work in. We're not overly game planning for the Cowboys. We're not going to overly game plan for Micah Parsons. It's going to be good work for our guys. And so we'll see what, guys are going to step up and do what they can do against him.
Some of the receivers that have been getting more work with Puka week to week right now and not practicing, what have you seen from them? And I guess what do you want to continue to see out of them?
Yeah, it's anytime it's happening in our O-line right now. Obviously, our defensive backfield, particularly the corner spot, and now obviously with Puka being out, such a vital part, playing our Z receiver. So it's going to be by committee right now. Again, there's going to be guys playing with that first group. We rotate the guys anyways, right? When you have, say 50 snaps with the ones or 40 snaps with the ones, Cooper and Puka aren't taking all 40. So those guys are already in there. It's just they're going to be up there a little bit more. And go do what you do. Don't try to make anything up. Just be who you are. Play within your position. Play within your role. And, and go make your plays.
You'll call it Sunday, right, for the preseason game?
We haven't totally confirmed any of that right now. I'm sure, we'll see what Sean says when you ask him that.
Kind of a off-the-beat question, but in your time with the Rams in this window, what has exceeded your expectations, knowing what you're stepping into? And it could even be Southern California.
Yeah, this isn't bad, right? This has been great, but and it's truly fun to be back here at Cal Lu. But nothing really, Again, being in this division for 4 years, so much respect for what this organization has always done, particularly since Sean got here and all the success they've had as coaches, players, as an organization. Whether it's June 12th, July 12th, August 12th, and then our first game, whatever that is in September. Sean's urgency doesn't change, and when he has that urgency, everyone just kind of follows suit. And it's fun, it's energetic, but it's urgent. And I think that's a huge separator for this organization, because not a lot of guys are wired like Sean, and when you have a leader like that, you just follow suit. You have to.